Corvette is now entering into its golden years. It will soon approach its 71st birthday. It is America's sports car and the first American performance car to be the envy of the world. Over the years, it has garnered many fans. It is respected all around the world as a serious sports car. However, there are few Corvettes that have either received little or no respect, some to the point where they have become popular targets of the critics. Here's the list of the top 5 hated Corvettes and why that may not be such a bad thing and is probably not permanent. 1982 and 1984 Corvettes.
It began as genius and grew to be legend, and has become at long last the most advanced production car on the planet.
When they were newly developed, the Corvettes from 1982 and 1984 were best-selling models. The 1984 Corvette was the first of the 4th generation, and the 1982 was the final model from the 3rd generation. The 1984 Corvette, with its rapid acceleration and superior handling, was hailed as the first truly European-style Corvette. So, why a dislike for the Corvettes from 1982 and 1984? The culprit is the 5.7-liter Crossfire fuel injection V8 engine located under the hood. Reliability or horsepower are not the issues with Corvettes with Crossfire fuel injection. The Crossfire V8 engine of the 1982 Corvette produced 200 horsepower, 10 horsepower more than the 350 cubic inch V8 engine of the 1981 Corvette that was carbureted. The Crossfire V8 engine in the 1982 Corvette was the best high-performance engine available in a new American vehicle. The Corvette's Crossfire V8 produced 205 horsepower in 1984, a minor increase over the previous year's performance. What then makes Crossfire Corvettes so unpopular? Everything changed with the introduction of the Corvette's new 5.7-liter tuned port-injected V8 in 1985. Compared to the Crossfire's dual-throttle body injection design, it employed a far more advanced port fuel injection design. In 1985, the horsepower was 230. To make matters worse, tuned port injection used less fuel than Crossfire. Furthermore, it is nearly impossible to modify the engine performance of a Crossfire Corvette without replacing the entire fuel injection system. Even though the Crossfire Corvettes have received a lot of negative press over the past few decades, their values on the auto collector market have been slowly rising for the past few years, so it seems that this is starting to change. 1963 Corvette Hardtop Coupe. The first model year of the 2nd generation Corvette was 1963. Even now, the styling seems contemporary since it was so innovative at the time. Among enthusiasts of automobiles, the 2nd generation Corvette is one of the most adored body types. There are few cars that collectors find better than a 2nd generation Corvette. The 1963 Corvette Hardtop Coupe. What's the deal? Some people adore it, while others detest it. That has been the case from the start. The split window on the hardtop coupe is the main point of contention. Zora Duntov, the man who invented the Corvette, and Bill Mitchell, GM's head of design operations, got into a heated argument about a split window even before the 1963 Corvette was put into production. Duntov detested it with a fervor that Mitchell found endearing. The Corvette Coupe's stunning roofline, which had a creased line that began just above the top of the windshield and extended all the way back to the rear gas tank cap area, was enhanced by the split window. From the perspective of design, it was flawless. The split window produced a large rear blind spot from a functional standpoint. It is therefore not surprising that Mitchell adored the window while Duntov, who was all about utility, hated it. The 1963 Corvette Coupe continues to evoke strong feelings of love and hate among Corvette enthusiasts today. Duntov ultimately prevailed, and the 1964 Corvette Coupe would never again have a split-back window. Strangely, the split-window coupe from 1963 is now highly sought after among vintage Corvettes because of the issue. 1974 Corvette LS4 454. Most performance cars had either disappeared by 1974 or had had their power output drastically reduced. It was the same with the Corvette. The issue here is that, starting in 1965, the big block V8 Corvette had been a tire burner. By 1974, it was comparable to a retired NBA basketball player who was out of shape. It was only faster than the 1974 Corvette, with just 270 horsepower to spare from its enormous LS4 454 cubic inch V8. It could reach 60 miles per hour in 6.4 seconds, compared to 6.8 seconds for the standard 1974 Corvette, with the 195 horsepower L48 small block 350 cubic inch V8 engine. The handling deficit brought on by the big block V8's weight would no longer be disregarded by Corvette enthusiasts. The small block V8 offered significantly better handling with nearly equal power. This signaled the big block Corvette's demise. 1974 would be the model year. But even now, there is still disdain for the 1974 LS4 Corvette. The 1974 LS4 Corvette was one of the fastest cars on the road in 1974, so don't let the haters deceive you. The 1974 LS4 Corvette is an excellent deal if you're looking for a big block Corvette at a reasonable price. 1975 Corvette L48 350. Someone has to finish last when it comes to horsepower output. Out of all the Corvettes with V8 engines built, the 1975 model with the standard L48 350 cubic inch V8 is the least desirable. It only generated 165 horsepower, which is the same amount of power as a typical four-cylinder engine nowadays. In 1975, this Corvette was granted a pass because its horsepower had decreased to the level of a piano that had fallen from an apartment building's roof. 1975 saw the addition of more stringent pollution control systems to the majority of the 1975 model year cars that were sold in the United States. These engines choked as a result, drastically reducing the horsepower figures. Because of this, in 1975, 165 horsepower was considered a respectable output, especially for a performance car. In contrast, the 1975 Mustang with a V8 engine only generated 140 horsepower. For the mid-1970s, the L48 Corvette's 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 7.7 seconds was fast. The good news was that in those days, an owner of a 1975 L48 Corvette could readily boost horsepower by up to 100 horsepower by buying performance parts from any auto parts store. The 1975 L48 Corvette is a hidden gem, so ignore the haters. 1953 to 1955 Corvette Blue Flame. The majority of Corvette enthusiasts continue to view the 1953-1955, which marks the first 3 model years of America's two-seater sports automobile, as a fundamentally problematic vehicle. Given that Chevrolet was still figuring out what the Corvette was going to be during the first few years, it's a little harsh to them. In the early 1950s, Chevrolet was a stodgy brand that sold dependable vehicles at fair prices. Although the majority of manufacturers had a V8, Chevrolet's greatest engine was the Blue Flame, a 6-cylinder unit. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that Chevrolet included a 150 horsepower Blue Flame upgrade as standard equipment in the 2017 Corvette. That was a standard feature on the Corvette up until the 1955 model year. Thankfully, Zora Duntov persuaded Chevrolet that the 1955 Corvette should be powered by its new 265 cubic inch V8, which debuted for the 1955 model year. Even though Chevrolet offered the Blue Flame once again for 1955, only 7 were made. The V8 was standard equipment on the great majority of 1955 Corvettes. The rest is history, as they say. The 1953-1955 Blue Flame Corvette will always be cherished by auto enthusiasts and will always have a unique position in automotive history. All of this, however, cannot change the reality that it is the only Corvette in production with a 6-cylinder engine. A Corvette without a V8 is like pizza without cheese. Well, there you have it, the reasons why people hated these Corvettes. Comment down below your 2 cents and let's discuss. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button to keep you updated on our future uploads. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one.